Okay, today we are going to put on the Viking Shocks, rear shocks on a 16 GT. What you're going to need is the tools to get your wheels off there, a 15 millimeter socket there, 18 millimeter socket, 9/16. The hardware that came with the two shocks there, and then I have an impact, little impact gun there. We're gonna get started, okay? Okay, so you actually want to jack the car up. I use the pumpkin to get it up enough to where I get the jack stands underneath of it. And after you get that, obviously you want to pull the wheel off. You're going to see these two bolts up here. You're going to want to take those out, those two bolts out over there. And then you're going to see these two bolts here. Those two bolts will be coming out as well. And then once you do that, there's going to be, you'll take this thing off here off. And you take that off, put the new shock in there, and we'll go from there. All right, so with your handy dandy impact wrench here, you're gonna take the 18 millimeter, you're gonna put that on there, you're just gonna back it just like that. And then same with the other side, which I already backed out there. Just gonna take that out there, like that, nice and easy. And this will actually just pop up like that. And it'll shoot up that way. So we got these two bolts out, and then take the 15 millimeter and get these two bolts down there out. And once we get that out, we'll go from there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put this up here like that, right there. Get that undone there with that one, and then you'll take this one right here, there, and then as you can see, the shock's moving. You want to hold on to the top of that shock, and then you'll get the rest of that bolt out, and we'll go from there. Okay, so the top bolts are out, the bottom bolts are out. You're just going to pick up and lift out like that to get the stock shock from there. And like I said, we're going to peel this cap off up here. There's a nut we're going to take off there. We're actually going to reuse this stock here, this right here, and then we'll use the same nut on this, and it'll go down on the Warrior Viking Shock, and then we'll remount everything up, and we'll go from there. So what we're doing now is what you want to do is you're going to want to hold on to that the shock there a little bit, and then there, and then once you do that, you'll actually nice and easily just take it out. If you don't hold on to anything, you could spin it, and it'll just spin, and actually the nut won't come out. So just keep that in mind. Alrighty guys, here is your stock shock. Here's the Viking Shock. These are the parts you're going to be using over again. I'm going to put this on top of this, and that nut is going to bolt onto this, and the cap's going back on, and this will go in there. But first, before we do anything, if you look over here, you get these nice little spec sheet from Viking. Viking does a really good job with giving you guys some download. I'm actually going to use the drag racing less than 600 horsepower. My car does not make 600. But I am going to a track event this weekend, so we're going to set the rear on, for right now, we're going to set it on 3, and then I'm going to go with probably, 6. And then we might make a couple testing hits from there and go from there. So we're going to go ahead and get all this bolted on the new Viking shock there, and then I'll get ready to, once I do that, we'll show you on the install back on the car. As far as settings, they come with on 0. So for C obviously means compression. We're gonna go 1 click, 2 click, 3 click, and then for rebound, it's on 0. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then get everything all hooked back up. And like I said again, from the previous one, step, we're going to go ahead and do it all together, and then we'll get it on the car. All right, so to install the bottom, you're going to put a bolt with a washer, nut and a washer. And what's going to happen is, if you look right there, I already stuck one bolt up there, but there's a bolt and a washer there, and then this nut and washer will go on top, and you'll tighten that down. And once you get that tightened down, we'll then go up top to install the top. But first, we're going to install the bottom there, okay? All right, so we got them started. What we're going to do is We'll use a 9/16 deep well up top and then a short 9/16 there. And then we're gonna run both sides in, and then we'll be able to get the top hooked up. Okay, so once you get those installed, in order to get this pushed up where you need to, it may be a little bit on the short side, so you may have to take your jack and jack that up to once these holes right here get lined up. And once you line them up, I like to tighten them by hand first. Then once you get them tightened by hand, then you can take the wrench, impact wrench, and get them tightened up. All right, so once you get this tightened down, there you have it. It fits right in there. You can face these outward. I like to face mine in. Might be a little easier to get them towards the spring side, but I don't want them hitting the springs or something happening hitting up against the spring. They clear just fine how they are now. From here, all you'll do is you want to put your wheel back on. You can put your wheel back on now, and then go to their side, or leave it off and put both wheels back on once you get everything, both sides done. So we're going to do the same thing to the other side, and then we'll get everything all buttoned up. All right, so here we go again on the other side. Undo these two bolts, and then undo this bolt and this bolt to get that old shock out. Remember, we want to keep this, this, and this on the old shock. After the bolt's out, remember, just pop out and up and out we go, and then replace. Take the nut off here. Remember, you might have to hold on to this down here to get the nut off. And then keep this, and the cap and the bolt, or the nut, excuse me, cap on the nut, and then we'll put this on the other Viking Shock, and then we'll get her installed. All right, make sure before you install these, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure it's the same as the other side before you install, and that way you get everything lined up good there. And we'll be installing this. Remember, it's just the top 2 bolts, and then the bottom 2 bolts. Do the bottom 2 first. It lines everything up, and then you may have to use your 4 jack to jack it up to get the 2 top bolts in. So here we go. All right, so once you get those tightened down, you want to jack up just a little bit, get those in there nice and even. You're going to put those in hand tight, and then you're going to do is you're going to put these in this way, like that. There, good. There. Good there. And then you're going to put your cap back on up here, and then once you put your cap on, you'll be good to go. Once the cap's on there, you put your tire on, and then once you get everything done, you'll lower the car down. And you want to check, what you want to do is you kind of want to bounce the rear end, but I'll show you these out here in a little bit. Excuse the dirty car, but once you get the car down off the jack stands, what you want to do is you want to come over, just nice and easy, push down, make sure nothing's rubbing that way, you're not bottoming out. Take a look over here, make sure everything fits nice and snug there. Push down, nothing. All right, so thank you again for watching this install video on how to put Viking shocks, rear shocks in the Viking Warriors. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. If you want to subscribe for more install videos to come. Thank you.